Yes, tonight is the night. We're going to reaction to the Supreme Court decision. That's what we are here for tonight. We're going to be here. Patricia Peters, how are you? Good. Wow, everybody coming in. Douglas, Richard, where you watching from? How are you? Mana. How you guys doing? Douglas, we are here. It's a program that's also about Liberia politics. Says Zanzi is watching from where? Sidiki White. Hey, my brother Sidiki White, how you doing? This is your cousin Suleiman on Staten Island. How are you? Welcome to the show. It's all about Anthony Jones and all of that. It's all about Liberia politics. I'm having a guest here tonight. We'll be discussing the response to the Supreme Court decision tonight. Anthony Jones, how you doing? Please let me know where you're watching from. Mama Fule, hey, Mama Fule, how you doing? You at work? You at the work? You work at the airport? Are you there already? Okay, tonight we are going to discuss about the response to from the Supreme Court to Brumskin. That's what we are here for. So my man will be coming soon. Let me just hang out with you guys. You want to hang out with me for a minute? He will be here. He's an analyst, political analyst, and also environmental analyst. So he's going to be here. Jackson R. Kenny, how you doing? Long time, big brother. Yeah, we're still around. We're around. Thank God. To you, Harris. Hey, T, what's up? We'll be discussing about the response today. So we're going to react to that response. That's what we are here for tonight. So be patient. Be patient with us. Just a minute, and my brother will be here to respond, to react to that. Peace, Tunis. Yeah. Anthony and June. Hey, Miss, what's up, bro? Just hang out for a minute. My brother going to be here. He's going to be here soon. Then we would begin. Let me just call him now. Dapper, don't worry. We'll soon start the ball rolling. Soon start the ball rolling. Okay, if you're listening, Dapper. Okay. He'll be going to be here soon. Irene, hey, what's up, Irene? I know where you're watching from. Emmanuel Kesseli Nangbe is watching. Where you watching from, Emmanuel? Let me know. How you guys been watching? You're welcome to the show. Tonight's show is all about the Supreme Court in Liberia responded to Brumskin. And we're going to react to that response. If you want to take part in it, you can. But just a minute, we'll be here, and the discussion will begin. Because I have an expert who know how to at least go into the mind of the politician, into their head, and bring us what they mean about what they say. Supreme Court today, their ruling was for Brumskin to go back to NEC, which is National Election Commission, and listen so they can give him the result. If he is not satisfied with it, then he can proceed back to Supreme Court. That's what we're going to be discussing here. So I wish my brother can hurry up to come over, because I'm waiting for him, but I hardly can see him. Are you going to come or not? Walter John Weir, James Weir, what's up, man? How you doing? Okay, we are here discussing about Liberia politics. They put a halt to the elections. They ran up election, which was supposed to be tomorrow, the 7th. But It's being time indefinite right now. Okay, he's here. My brother is here. Okay, I'm going to send him the invite. Hey, Dapo, we are waiting for you. We want the ball to be rolling. We are here only for 45 minutes. So we are not going more than 45 minutes. The program is only 45, the most 1 hour. So sit tight and just listen. It's all about Liberian politics. We are going to discuss about the decision the Supreme Court rendered today. So that's what the discussion is going to be surrounding. So don't worry, be happy. Everything will be cool. We are here only for 45 minutes, not more than 45, at least probably 1 hour. So if you want to hang around, my expert is coming. My guest will be here soon. I'm trying to invite him to join me. Duke. What's up, Duke? Okay. Elijah King Lee. Hey, my camera brother, how you doing? I'm waiting for my man to enter so that we can discuss Liberian politics. And you guys are welcome. You may, if you are, you tell us about whatever. Okay, at least you can see him. This is my expert. He's a political analyst, and he has an MA in environmental something. He's an analyst of everything. The two good majors is major in two good subject, which is politics and environmental something. So today he's going to be telling us about, he's going to go into the mind of Brumskin and also the mind of the Supreme Court. He has been with them since last week, and today they came out with a decision. My brother Randy, how are you today?
Hey, Tunis, I'm doing great, and thanks for having me tonight. I appreciate it. 45 minutes. I think it will be a quick learning experience for our followers to get to understand what is actually unfolding in the country. So thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right, before we go further, Randy, can you just introduce yourself for our listeners? Just briefly introduce yourself, who you are. Are you a Liberian or American or Jamaican? And what do you do so far before we go into our topic?
Yeah, my name is Randolph Darpo, and I'm an environmental policies and analyst. I look at every spectrum of society from the regulatory standpoint, from the policy standpoint, and I also have an engineering degree in environmental engineering, and I do have a computer science degree as well. But over the course of the year, most of my expertise has been looking at policies, the behavior of human being, their interaction with society, why they make decisions, what is the benefit, and what can I do to undo some of the benefits by exposing the behaviors in that. And on top of that too, I'm also very much in tune to politics. I have a very great general knowledge in politics, and not to mention Liberian politics. I'm very good at analyzing our politicians because over the course of the year, I understood what their positions are, when they strike and when not to strike, when they align and when not to align. So this conversation here is going to be basically about the decision of the Supreme Court tonight. So today, thanks for having me. I want people to look at me as someone who look at things from an analytical point of view, from the root cause to the deviations and why things are happening and why we continue to go in circle and what solution can I provide in terms of that. Thank you, Tunis.
Thank you for that introduction. That's a very fine introduction. So you know the value of the man who is right before you here today to talk about Liberian politics. What was the delay about from the Supreme Court anyway?
Well, I think the Supreme Court took the bait from Mr. Bronsky for the fact that we have institutions in our country, and if we are to grow our environment, I mean, if we are to grow our institution, we must build confidence and trust in our institution. So when Mr. Bronsky filed the report with the Supreme Court, I think they had to juggle between whether they should accept or whether they should not. So um, they got caught up between rock and hard places. So in the final analysis, they decided to come up with a decision that everyone has been talking about, which is about due process, following the process that is applicable to our society. So as you can see today, they came up with that decision, which is giving a U-turn back to the NEC, which is the governing body that oversee the election in our country.
But one thing I would like for you to let us know from last week when the case was presented to the Supreme Court,
Correct.
and they told us that they were going to get back to us on Thursday, and which Thursday was a national holiday. Why would they come up with a decision like that? And they were knowing that it's going to be a holiday. Why was that?
Well, apparently they got caught up in the process, not knowing that was an oncoming holiday. And for the most part, too, like you observe on the news, they have the ECOWAS delegation in the country. They too are also trying to weather the storm in the country in regards to what the decision of the Supreme Court would turn out to be. So all these factors build all the chemistry that the publicists, that came up with the fact that they were going to deliver on Thursday, probably did not, give thought to the fact that Thursday was going to be a holiday. So, that's a lesson learned, and that's why we're supposed to have publicists who will look at the calendar to determine on what is ahead and when and why can we make or not make the kind of statement. So those are some of the reasons that they flip like that. But I think they learned their lesson too, Tunis.
But do you think Bronsky really went through the due process to take the court case directly from NEC without NEC giving him any response and just taking it straight to the Supreme Court? Was he taking the right process?
No,
Is that?
You see, Bronsky is a calculated politician. He's a calculated politician that only in there for himself. Because, like I told folks tonight, I like to look at the deviation, the root cause analysis as to what thing happened and why. Let's look at 2005. 2005 had an election, Tunis, and for every election, you have to generate a report that is described as the post-election report. And that post-election report will look at the near misses, the opportunity to improve, the recommendation. That is to prepare for the next future election. Mr. Bronsky was part of that. Ambassador Weah was part of that. President Johnson said he was part of that. Ambassador Weah was the only person who came out to say, you know what, we have some irregularities. How can we face the irregularities? But he got thrown down. People disregard what he was saying. We jumped into 2011. Same thing happened. This time it was Ambassador Weah, and it was also Honorable Tubman. They came again with the same issue of voter irregularities in the election. Again, the same people turned around again and forgot about listening to Ambassador Weah. They decided to move on. Now today, Honorable Bronsky knows very well that the party that he was aligning himself with, President Andy Johnson Sirleaf, is not supporting the Unity Party anymore. So that makes him vulnerable. Now, remember, from 2005 to 2011, Mr. Bronsky was quiet. He didn't say anything. But now he looked into the crystal ball now and feel that there's no hope for him. So what he decided to do now? He decided now to take his own interests, the interest that would benefit him. So he went against the out. We have voter irregularities. It's obvious that it's supposed to happen. Voter irregularities is supposed to happen. It's obvious. But what it is not obvious is the process involved. NEC has the legal authority in our country by law and by rule and by article within NEC regulation that once the election result is announced, after 7 days, you can file your appeal and followed by a 30-day investigation by NEC and her staff. Now, Mr. Bronsky knew that his allegation was insufficient to substantiate his claim with NEC. But because he felt he knows the law, he decided to what? To now wait for the closure from NEC to give him that right to go to the Supreme Court. What did he do, Tunis? He took a case to the Supreme Court. While the case was still being investigated, Musa Belidi was representing Unity Party, presenting the cases of what they had discovered But Bronsky felt that because there was a projected date that was given by NEC, he used his constitutional right to go to the Supreme Court. But here's the thing that he failed to make the Liberian people to understand. As long as that 30 days is not concluded, there's no closure to his case, it was going to be impossible to have that election. Because the Supreme Court wouldn't even allow that when you have an ongoing case with a candidate who, for the fact, has a lot of people aligning with his philosophy. So he decided to disrespect the due process that he talked about. He disrespect that process, which I want the Liberian people to understand that when you run an institution, no matter who you are, we need to make sure that we respect the rules regarding any institution in the country. That's how we learn to be good citizens and make our country better. Instead, he jumped to the Supreme Court. Remember, we had 30 days. So between all the time you are running to the Supreme Court and then having the ability to analyze, guess what happened? The case today came out to say, you know what? Since you asked for this stay order, there's nothing we can do. We're granting the stay order. Go back to the go back to NEC to have the issue resolved. But what? Hello, Tunis, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that.
Okay, all right. This is why the Supreme Court should have done. Why it is true that Mr. Bronsky has a right. The very day he filed his report with the Supreme Court regarding the stay order, the Supreme Court, knowing very well that NEC had 30 days, they should have denied his appeal and say, you know what, we're going to instruct NEC to make sure that your case is processed and they present a conclusion to you before you come back to us. They didn't do it. They took a bit, and because of that, the Supreme Court managed to take some days away from the 30 days that NEC supposed to have taken to investigate the case, which is why today the court said the case has been sent, the issue has been ordered, go back to NEC so that NEC can speedily investigate the case. The reason they use the word speedily is because the Supreme Court has taken days out of that too. So now it's up to NEC. But I tell you what, NEC already has a result because NEC, through the different press conferences, NEC through their communication online, have proven that Mr. Bronsky does not have a case. So it's going to be a very fast-track decision that will be given back to Mr. Bronsky that he doesn't have a case. And guess what Mr. Bronsky is going to do? Mr. Bronsky now is going to go back to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court now is going to decide his fate. As you know, the Supreme Court is the arbiter of law in our country and the final decision maker. Now, there is the caveat to that. Remember, Edwin Snow is part of the Unity Party that has aligned itself with Mr. Bronsky. With his work on that committee of justices, I'm having a little doubt because there's a conflict of interest right there. So I want the Liberian people to look at this, that if the decision favor Mr. Bronsky and Mr. Snowwell is on that committee, I can say for a fact that she may play some role. So to take herself out of any kind of shenanigan, I would suggest that she recuse herself from that process. And here is why. Because Mr. Snow had gone to the same Supreme Court with cases, and he had won those cases. But those cases have been very minute cases. But this case is a very large case that we don't want to take for granted. Because you know what? We have two significant parties that are the outstanding party in the country, and we want that election to be held and not to be put in some kind of debacle that would derail our election. So I'm also calling that his wife recuse herself should, in case Mr. Bronsky go back for the final hearing of his case. But the NEC going to have a very fast track of Mr. Bronsky's case, which they're going to deny, and they're going to recommend a forward step into the runoff election.
But how come Unity Party got involved into this case, and they have already agreed to go for the runoff with CDC? How come they became an adversary to this particular case?
I tell you what, there are two things. Number one, Unity Party does not have the calculus they does not have the chemistry to win this election. So they resorted to Bronsky derail process. Because think about it, Ellen Johnson said he had been the brain behind the Unity Party. She had been the mobilizer, she had been the motivator, she had been the financier, she had been the brain. But because she decided to take a back seat, knowing full well that Mr. Bokar does not have the juice to become the next president, she decided to take the back seat. Secondly, most of her folks that are better with her, the legs of Councilor Bronsky, including Bokar himself, Eddie Snow, these are all the different people that differ with Ellen Johnson's selling philosophy. So they all align themselves now with the Unity Party. But they have nothing to prove. Remember, Tunis, before we got into this stuff, they were preaching what? The message of war, 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 war. Because they don't have message. How will a party that was in power for 12 years don't have a message for the Liberian people? That tells you that they didn't do a good job. So what they resorted to? They resorted to what? Creating chaos among our people that there will be war. Ambassador Weah win. And we know that Ambassador Weah, who he is, has been the UN ambassador, has been the peace reconciler through the Ellen Johnson Study administration, and he has done extremely well in that role. Number two, he also had served as presidential candidate within his party, and he also has served as VP in his party, and they had irregularities, but because of the sake of our people, they allow these things to go ahead. But Unity Party feel that they don't have the numbers, they don't have the capability to make the second round, so they're not aligned with Mr. Walker Bronsky. Mr. Walker Bronsky has become the spoiler of this election. He has nothing to lose because he has been a third place person for the past 3 elections. So he coming in now as the spoiler. Guess what is happening here? Unity Party that don't have the means to go to the second round to win this election has decided to join the fray, to derail the process, to create frustration within the mind of our people, which is why I'm on here to say, you know what? Look at Unity Party record. Look at Mr. Bronsky's record. Since when did Mr. Bronsky took interest into voter irregularities? Why didn't he speak about this in 2005? Why didn't he speak about it in 2011? Why didn't he speak about it before the election on 2017?
This is a man who didn't even take 10% of the voting record in Liberia. He didn't even come up to 10%. Why is he taking these steps? And for the matter of fact that he's not going anywhere with this case anyway, even if they have to rerun this over and over more than 5 times, he's always going to be the 3rd place or the 4th place. Where is he taking this to?
Well, it's a political manipulation of game. You know what they're trying to do here? Bronsky, as I told you, is a calculated politician. What he's doing now is a mind game. He wants to drag and derail this process so that the voters in the country can get frustrated. And in his mind, he feels that that is going to build Unity Party to gain more status in terms of numbers. So dragging the process, going to frustrate people, people are going to give up, people are going to get tired, and they're going to go away. But guess what? The multi-Congress for of a democratic change, all right? The CDC party will continue to remain resolute. They continue to remain focused. They continue to keep their guard, which is why when you hear today's decision, look, to this, I want to give thanks to members of the CDC party for being so organized. If you look at some of the images that were on Facebook today, they had the police were in full gear. They have the surveillance population that criticize the CDC all the time. They were all watching to see what the CDC was going to do today, not knowing that CDC is not the problem in our country. When the result was announced, the police came in high gear. Did you see any commotion in the street? Absolutely not. Did you see anybody causing chaos? Absolutely not. Because the CDC is focused on one thing, and that thing is we are waiting for the runoff so we can take Ambassador Weah to the executive mansion. That shows that the party is focused. So what Mr. Bronsky and Unity Party are doing is just wasting people's time and don't want to move forward.
I would like for you to go into the mind of the Election Commission. What do you think they are coming? What will be their response to Mr. Bronsky? And do you think that response going to get Mr. Bronsky back to the Supreme Court, or he just going to waive it? Because I overheard that he doesn't even trust the the election commission. And where are we going with this if he doesn't trust the election commission? And this is the election commission that went through this process, the first run, and there was a date for the second run. Until now, we came to this dilemma. How can we? How can you go into the mind of the election commission?
Well, the election commission mind had already been made up. They see Mr. Bronsky allegation as an isolated issue and as a mere scam to derail the process. Here's why. The election commission had come out with the ballots that Mr. Bronsky was claiming that was actual real ballot that became a fraud. Those were brochures. Those were brochures. When you vote in other countries, they gave you the final brochure to look at in order to determine who you're actually going to vote for. Those are the ballots that Mr. Bronsky brought forward as evidence. And besides that, the magistrate of every county and district within our country, the next administration has contacted these people, and they are proving that there is not any sort of voter irregularity or fraud that took place during our election. So the decision, their decision now to Mr. Bronsky would be, there isn't enough evidence to prove that there were any sort of irregularities. Will that time elapse? Absolutely, Tunis. There will be time elapse, because you know what? Since 1847, when it rains, the southeastern part of the country is divided from the northern part. All right, and then from the northern part is always divided from the east and the west because of bad road condition. Those things will equate to having lapses in the time. But does that equate to massive fraud or lapses in our election process? Absolutely not. So Mr. Bronsky's claim is not going to be sufficient to have any decision from NEC in his favor. But guess what he's going to do? When he gets that, he's not going to relax now, because NEC already made up our mind. He is now going to run to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court, of all courts that we know in the country, we have a deadline of January 18th. So January 18th is supposed to be the inaugural day. I can say for a fact that the Supreme Court is going to tell Mr. Bronsky, based on the NEC decision, as an institution that we trust to run our election in this country, we deem it unnecessary to move forward with this case, and NEC has to look into itself to determine what can be done to correct the process, which is why I'm always calling for post-election report, because the post-election report will give the next election commissioner the opportunity for improvement, to improve the system. We have an ecosystem in our country, whether it's governmental ecosystem, whether it's the family ecosystem, whether it's a private ecosystem, there will always be margin errors. But those marginal errors can be corrected to prevent further mistakes in the future, which is why I have been calling for post-election report to determine what has gone wrong. And Mr. Bronsky has not been an advocate for these things, but only because he feels that he has aligned himself with the Unity Party that want to create chaos, because they feel in their mind that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is supporting Mr. Weah and the Joel Howard ticket. So they all have supported, they all are supporting him now to go after the Supreme Court in the legal way to derail the peace process, which is unfair to the people of Liberia.
But this is the man that say he doesn't have trust in the election commission. Now, where are we going with this?
They say when the New Year will be good or the Christmas will be good, you can tell from the Eve. He hasn't even gone there yet, but he has already started to cause trouble. Mr. Bronsky is a spoiler. He's a spoiler of peace. He's a spoiler of our political process. He had no good intention for that country, because he hasn't even gone there to test what the Supreme Court is made of. Remember, Mr. Bronsky had a beef. Remember when Harrison Conway was denied by the Election Commission of violating the code of conduct? What did Mr. Bronsky? Yeah, he ran to the Supreme Court and got it well, which is why when NEC was investigating his case, he felt that he was not going to get his chance. So he jumped the gun again and went to the Supreme Court. But this time around, he got a punch in the face and said, you know what? We hold our stay order, go back to NEC and go reconcile with them for you guys to have that hearing. And if that hearing turns away, fine. If it doesn't turn your way, we are here. But again, Tunis, Mr. Bronsky is a spoiler. He's a political manipulator. He's not in the interest of the Liberian people. He and Honorable Borka, I feel sorry for Mr. Borka. This is a man who people claim that he has 42 years record. All right? Do you think for a second that the position that Mr. Borka in, preparing himself for second round, do you think if Bronsky were in that position, know who he is? This is a man who was corporate lawyer for a company in his own county, and he put his county under the bus and supported a corporate organization that was disturbing and inhumanly treating his people. Do you think if he had the opportunity that Mr. Borka is in today, Tunis, do you think he was going to take side with what Mr. Borka was going to do, which he's doing now today? No. Second opinion, fact here. If Mr. Weir had decided to do what Mr. Bronsky is doing today in 2011, what was going to be the response of the Liberian people, Tunis? You tell me. What was going to be the response of the Liberian people?
Before we move further, this is a program that I only bring one expert in our Liberian politics at time, and this is the guest I got here today. We are here to discuss the issue, the response. We are reacting to the response from the Supreme Court today. This morning, the Supreme Court brought up our decisions that the case must go back. The case that Bronsky took to them must go back to Election Commission. So I brought up my brother here, who is MA master degree holder in politics, in environmental something that he knows of, and he introduced himself that way. He also got a little bit of knowledge of politics, so he go into the mind of our politician, and that's the reason why he's here for tonight. And we will not be taking call from nobody else. If you want to hang out with us to know more about Liberian politics, this is what we are here for. And we're not here for 45 minutes. We already spent almost 20-25 minutes. So let me come back to you, Randy. His name is Randy.
Sure.
I'm Tunis. This is all about Liberia. If you're a Liberian, you can stick around. If you're not, you're interested in Liberia politics, you can stick around. Let me come back to you again. What about Uri involvement into this court case? What is involvement in this?
Well, these are all losers. All of them are losers. And I'm sorry to be so broad with the word loser. They are all losers because you know what? Uri is on record for telling anyone in Liberia who is eligible to vote to never vote or align themselves with anyone who is part of the Unity Party establishment. But guess what? His own faithful media talk show host, who has said all kinds of nasty things about Mr. Borka, is today in the backyard of Mr. Borka talking about how good he is. So what do you expect from Mr. Uri? These are all political parasites that are looking for anywhere or any used body to breathe into. But with the citizen are not like that. CDC remain resolute. CDC is a horse that will always welcome those who deflected, who went AWOL. But they are not going out there to tell you that if you go to join Unity Party, if you go to join ALP, if you go to join ANC, we will not support you. No, CDC always have that open arm to bring back their members. Because you know what? People can go and experience for themselves and they will come back. So what does that tell you about Mr. Uri? The question is, why did he in the first place even establish a political party when he doesn't have a principle for which he stands? He violates the own words that come out of his mouth. He violates those words. So to be true with you, Mr. Uri doesn't have any political ground to stand on. He doesn't have anything to rely on. If you don't have nothing to rely on, you will fall for anything. Which is why now he's lying himself.
What about Cummins? Cummins
is a disturbed guy. All right? He's a complete disturbed individual. He had the opportunity to make or to break, but he continued to break himself down. He said we cannot keep doing the same thing over and over. But he doesn't understand the political culture of our country.
And getting the same result.
Yeah. So now why has he done? The Liberian people have suffered for 12 years on the UP administration. Mr. Bronsky has done nothing to change anything to make it right. Today he's throwing his support behind these two people. So what does that tell us? He's no different from the diaspora Liberians that go to to go to Liberia just for themselves. This man, all he should have done when he lost the election was to sit on the fence and see what these people are made of. But instead, he joined with them. Now he's part of the supporter group. So ANC, ALP, Unity Party, Liberty Party, call them from today on the supporter. They are all supporter in our country. They don't want to see the country move forward. Which is very disheartening to our people.
For those of you who are listening to our program here, this is mainly for a CDC, a sedition. This is a sedition program. You welcome anybody. You can be a Unity Party member. You can be a Cummins supporter. You can be Brunskin supporter. You're welcome to hang out with us. But mainly, this is all about CDC Party. This program here, and I brought this young man here. He's a true sedition, and he's also well knowledge of the Liberian politics. That's why he's here. So you can put any derogative marks you want to. We agree to that.
We welcome that. We welcome that. You know what? We welcome that. You can keep criticizing. As long as you're criticizing, you listen to the program, we welcome that. Because you know what? The truth must be told. These guys have been in the political vanguard for all these years. They have done nothing. Look at George Weah. They were calling the men who are going to disturb the peace. They didn't say that a few months ago that they're going to disturb the peace. Now what happening now, Tunis? They are the one now who are the spoiler, who trying to derail the peace process and don't want our country to move forward. They are the spoiler. They are the spoiler.
What can you tell our Liberian people in the diaspora that what is really going on for them to understand it from your point of view?
Well, our folks in the diaspora, this is what happened here. Every time we advocate that when will Liberia become a better country, this is the opportunity that we have never been able to experience. Even our fathers, our mother, and our grands and our granny have never been able to experience. And that is the transformation of power from one government to another. Many of us have seen it happening in other countries where we reside. This is an opportunity that we supposed to at least believe in, to say, you know what, let me see this piece of opportunity before I die. But Mr. Brunskin, with the DNA from the 1990 days, it had resonated in him. He don't want to see that process. He don't want us to tell our children that we one time saw a transformation of government from one leadership to another. So all we need to do from over here is to condemn his action and let us tell our people back home to trust the decision of NEC. If America can say, you know what, George Bush won the election, Al Gore, you lost the election, Donald Trump won the election, Hillary Clinton, you lost the election, let us trust our system. Because our system must improve in order for us to move forward. So that is my message to our people in the diaspora. We must learn to tell our people to trust the decision that come from the authorities and those that are in authority in our country. Flomoyan did it for Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Let Mr. Kokoya do it for this round. He had declared 2 winners.
What are some of the changes that you think if Ambassador Weah became president of Liberia, what are some of the changes you think will be put in place in Liberia?
Well, first of all, we have human capacity issue. We have the issue of corruption. We have the issue of divide and rule, which is why today you're seeing a lot of folks supporting other political parties, even though back in the days they said the political party of the unity government was bad. But it has resulted to 2 parties now, CDC and Unity Party. The divide and rule game, where everybody goes in there for themselves and not for the entire country. Ambassador Weah, when he becomes president, which he will in the not too distant future, right after we get into the runoff election, he's going to win the thing. Is to number one, to look at the way to break that chain, to break that umbilical cord between people who are depending on some political individual rather than giving them that independent mind. He's going to build a human capacity. He's going to make sure that people marry what they deserve. He's going to make sure that he make our people to love our country more than the very country we live in. That is the mindset. And that dream cannot be realized by Ambassador Weah himself. That dream can be realized by every Liberian who is watching this program now and who want the best for their children. Tunis, every day when I sit here, I see my kids grow up. And when I hear war in the country, people talking about war, want to bring war to Liberia. wherein when they get sick, even their fingernails hurt, they're on the plane coming to America or going somewhere else. And you have bulk of people in the country that are not able to get the same opportunity. And then when you hear them talking about, oh, I believe in the justice system, but when something happens, they try to take out the plane to leave. Those individuals, like Mr. Bronsky, like Mr. Boyka, like Mr. Alexander Cummings, like Mr. Uri, those people don't have love for that country. This is a man who can tear place. And this is something that he has been consistently being on for 3 successive elections. To see today that, oh, because he didn't win the election, he wants to show that our country can become better. My word to the people of Liberia is he had the opportunity to make it better in 2005. He had the opportunity to make it in 2011. He had the opportunity to make it between 2012 to 2016. He did none of those things, but because he feels that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is on the side of Ambassador Weah, which is untrue, and he knows very well that he is going to be slapped. This man is 66 years old. The next election, he's probably going to be over 70 years old. He will stand no chance. These are all the above reasons why he's fighting the losing battle that he's not going to win, because in weeks to come, the Supreme Court will overturn his decision and will join the population.
After the last election, this is the man that told us that he wasn't going to run again. That was his last chance. But
correct.
Again, when he came back, he said God told him to run. I mean, is this a prophet? With God told him to run, but God didn't tell him that he was not going to win? I mean, can you say something about this? Because really,
well, he's just a con artist. That's who he is. You know, con artists always come back with new tricks to be allowed back into the system. All right? He's a man of no purpose. He's a man of no vision. He doesn't want to build institutions. All he wants to do is to build his self-esteem, to seek things for himself and his immediate family. That's who he is. Because if he said that he was not going to be running, he was going back to his farm, what triggered him to come back? Now he's back. Now look what he presented to us. Complete chaos. That's why he's presenting to us. Chaos.
What do you think? What do you think Boyka leadership would do to us, we the Liberians?
Boyka is not going to have a leadership. Boyka leadership is missing now.
If anything happened, we don't know. Let's presume that if he became president,
then I will close my eyes. I will close my eyes to discuss it, because it's not going to happen in my life. No. It's not going to happen. So let me close my eye and discuss that. I'm being very honest with you here. And this is where my analytical skill comes. This man has ran 12 years with the Unity Party. He has done nothing. 42 years, he has done nothing but to preach war, fear-mongering politics. It's not going to work. So in his leadership, look what he's doing now in his party. He doesn't have a message for the people of Liberia. He relies on Bronsky to disturb our people's mind, thinking that he's going to get elected. But the more he continues to carry on and support this behavior of Mr. Bronsky, he is sinking himself more deeper to the bottom of this earth, where he's going to lose big time. Because this is the time that he's supposed to come out when people are talking about war, to say, you know what? We are at war in this country, people. Whoever is preaching war politics, I'm not for it. I want to make sure that the administration that I'm serving now, we want to make sure that where we were not able to get caught up, when we get into the next phase, we will do our best. But Mr. Boyka is silent on everything. He's silent on some of his supporters talking about there will be war. He's silent on the fact that the Unity Party is dragging this thing and he's taking his side with them. He's not being a leader. He doesn't have the stigma. He doesn't have the stamina. This man is a total loser. He's a complete failure to himself, to his family, to the people of Liberia. Therefore, he is not going to be elected. So let's just forget about Boyka. Boyka is just in the race because he has been elected by the little influence that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf left with the Unity Party through partisan, which is why he's in this race. But to say that he's going to spy Ambassador Weah, that is going to be in my eye closed dream world, but not in my eyes open reality world, because he's not going nowhere, Tunis. What record does he have to run on now? All right? If you have a better record, you will be talking about your successes. You will be talking about what you have accomplished for this country. This is a man who said he was part like an old car. So we are looking for Jatro to Jacka or an old and junk it. That's all he fit to do. That's all we're
So
looking for right now.
let's look at Prince Johnson. I mean, before the election, Prince Johnson was bad mouthing Weir because of some incident took place uh, in Nimba
Correct?
between Brumskin Party and the Citizen Party. And
Yes.
he came out bad mouthing that if Ambassador Weir become president of Liberia, there will be a war. And now we are seeing him on board with Weir, where how this gameplay all of a sudden he switched to Weir, the man who were bitterly against George Weah and the CDC party, calling them all kinds of names, that they are hoodlum, they are grown-up boys, motorbike boys in the street. They know nothing. They are not educated. If it become president, there will be a war. There will be something. Now he's on board with George Weah. How that happened?
Well, that just politics. All right, that just politics. He was only making those fear mongering. Number one, he's a guy who lived through the war. He's a guy who came to power through making name for himself through the war. So he felt that it was going to resonate with him. Guess what? It didn't resonate. All right? He came where? In the fourth place, I guess. He came in the fourth place. So he had learned a lesson that, look, you can scare the people sometime, but you cannot scare the people all the time, which I really did not support. All right? But here is the thing that I won't take. You know, I gave him 5% of my trust. He's a guy who believes in principle. And if only Mr. Bronsky could live by his own principle that society will appreciate, it will make him a great person. Here's why. Senator Johnson said the reason, and the only reason he's aligning himself with Ambassador Weah is when they went to Ganta, they all, that was Bronsky, Cummings, Ure, Ambassador Weah, and the Johnson himself, they made that commitment that if one of the parties succeeded and come face to face with Unity Party, they will all support that party. So he said he was mongering politics. It failed, but he did not resort to say, you know what, I'm not going to support this guy. Because you know what? All the 19 political parties that were on that platform in the campaign, their goal was to unseat the Unity Party. If that is true to themselves and to the people that supported them, my question is, what if Mr. Ure had won to go to the second round? What if Ellis Cummings, Prince Johnson, Ure have gone to the second round with Unity Party? Were they going to align themselves with the Unity Party and say, take it, we're not going to go for second round? Or were they going to say, you know what, whoever wins, including Ambassador Weah, was he going to support whoever from the opposition party was going to take on Unity Party? I would tell you, say yes. Ambassador Weah was going to do exactly that, because you know what? He's a man who wants to see change in our country, no matter who was going to be the front runner to meet the Unity Party. He was going to support them. But you know what? It only shows that Mr. Cummings, Mr. Ure, Mr. Bronsky, all of these people don't have the country at heart. They claim by their mouth, but by their action, it shows that they don't have that country at heart. So everything that our people have suffered for the past 12 years, Ellis Cummings, Mr. Bronsky, Mr. Ure, they have been fooling us. Not knowing that they appreciate the suffering our people are going through, because they see that as an economic benefit for themselves, which is why they are aligning themselves now with Mr. Boyka of the Unity Party. That is the trick that they are bringing here. Because, Tuna, you tell me, if you've been complaining, like you say, don't vote for anyone who is part of the Unity Party. But here is he today, aligning himself with the Unity Party. Ellis Cummings said, we can't keep doing the same thing over and over. Here is he now, aligning himself with the Unity Party. You see my point?
Do you really think that this election's going to go on the second round, or we're going to go for rerun or something like recount? What you're thinking?
There's not going to be no rerun. There's not going to be no rerun. We're going for the runoff. Mr. Bronsky's case will be a lesson learned. It will be a lesson learned that the next election, whatever we are brought up in 2005 and 2011 that was overlooked, what Mr. Bronsky had brought in 2017, those are things that the Election Commission will take as a lesson learned to improve our electoral process. This system is going to go through to the runoff. Nothing going to stop it. Here's why. Reason number one, we had 2 front runners. Reason number 2, we got a deadline to meet. Reason number 3, we don't have the financial means to go and waste our time. Number 4, our country needs to move forward and not to move backward. Bronsky, Ure, Cummings, Boyka, they want our country to go backward. We're not going to go backward. I was in my 20s when I left Liberia under the same Bronsky shenanigan. I've been in the country now for over 22 years. I don't want any Liberian to go through that same nonsense that I went through. The future of Liberia belongs to Liberians. Those Liberians that are not opportune to come to this country or travel out of the country, I want to make sure that they get the opportunity, which is why on the sidetrack, I do not support 100% dual citizenship. I support dual citizenship with restriction. Because if I came in this country and benefited here, I want to make sure that Ambassador Weah, when he supported dual citizenship, he should have limitation to it. Any Liberian who is truly educated and qualified for the job in Liberia should be given that opportunity. These are the things that I want to hear Mr. Boyka, Honorable Ure, Ellis coming talking about. But guess what? Those guys have been children, not in Liberia, but all the country. And only Ambassador Weah is working in the interest of our people to get those things done. I always say this for a fact. People may be criticizing me. Hold on for 1 second before I lost my thought. I always say this. I am supporting Ambassador Weah today. If he does become president, which he will, and he starts to screw up, trust me, I'm a well-qualified person who works for one of the biggest pharmaceutical industry in America. I don't need a job in Liberia. I will come right back here. And if you two does not come to sit with me, I will come back here and start to expose some of the things that I think that Ambassador Weah is not doing for the people of Liberia. Because you know what? I want to make sure that every Liberian who did not have the opportunity to come into this country or other country should be given that opportunity for the change he's advocating for. So the battle between the change that we're advocating for is just starting with me. All I've asked God for is long life, so you guys can see that the very Randy is a very controversial person if things are not going right for him. So the people of Liberia, I am not just here supporting CDC because I have an interest. No, my interest is already here. I already built my career for myself. All I'm advocating for right now is you that in Liberia to get that opportunity. Tuna, do you know when you're 40 years old, you have at least 20 more years to live your life? How many people in Liberia in their 40s, in their 30s are able to say, you know what, I'm going to take my child out on a Saturday to get an ice cream. I'm going to take my child to a private school and see my child go through that private school fence. Not many people doing that, my brother. Not many people doing that. And then to see Mr. Bronsky, who live in our country, which I don't live now, and see how our people have been strangulated and he continue to suffocate our people. Why? Why? For the sake of power? That's why we should go through this thing? Mr. Bronsky is wrong. He must be able to backtrack. He must relinquish himself from what he pursuing and let the peace process go ahead. If he have an agenda to pursue, let him align himself with Mr. Boyka, take his supporters to support Mr. Boyka when they get into the election. If his candidate in his dream wins, then he can bring the idea. But guess what? If Mr. Boyka and Mr. Ure and ANC and Mr. Bronsky want their real vision to come to reality, if Ambassador Weah wins and they bring those things before him, and Ambassador Weah says no, trust me, I will be back here supporting all of them. Because you know what? What benefit one Liberian benefit all Liberians? Our people have suffered for a very long time. Can you imagine you see people in the country begging? In your own country, you begging? God have mercy on us, Tunis. Sorry for interrupting your question.
What do you think that people are complaining so much about in Liberia right now? Like, for instance, probably it could be rural condition, hunger, or currency devaluating. In the first 100 years, 100 days of George Weah presidency, what do you think he's going to tackle first?
Well, as a political analyst, as a policy and regulatory analyst, I firstly would like to see Ambassador Weah carrying on a full-blown audit of every ministry to determine the deficit we have. If we identify the deficit, to have the transparent leadership from the executive mansion I would like to see Ambassador we are having a weekly press conference to start. And as long as they get into that rhythm, the next thing now is to make sure that they continue to inform the people. Our people need to be very, very abreast to how he's going to run his government. If Eddie Johnson said he is leaving maybe $2.2 billion or millions of dollars in debt, he needs to declare that. The next thing he needs to do is to reconcile the country. I feel so bad when I see some of my brothers and sisters aligning themselves with politicians. I don't like them. I don't appreciate them. Liberia is all we have. Some people live 30 years old. They don't even have what we have, Tunis, in our country. I could have been one of them. I could have been in our country today, hustling, which is why I'm on the side advocating for them. I have seen these politicians have done nothing for our country. So let us get Ambassador we have the opportunity. If he screw up, we all can come here and put him on the grill and grow him good. Because you know what? Our democracy is making progress.
There is a question from one of the watcher here saying Sarah, her name is Sarah Jackson, saying that what made you think that only CDC is the one that can change Liberia? What made you think so?
Yes, CDC is the only party. Guess what? The name Zogos. It was not Ambassador Weir that created the Zogo. The Zogo was those who fought in the war that were chewed out. You know when you chew a bubble gum, you take the sweet from in it, you chew it out. After the war, Mongol King, they created the war in our country. They turned the young guys into Zogos, and they spit them out. When Ambassador Weir came, he was the only man the UN saw that during the war, when he was playing, people listening and want to hear his name. The UN brought him in as a peace ambassador. Eddie Johnson started talking, which is why the kids, they see him based on his foundation of where he came from and decide to align themselves with him. They see a future through them. And guess what? He has stayed in there for almost what? 12 years. He ate with them. He ride with them. He slept with them.
Let me just hold you there for a second, please. Let me just hold you there for a second. For those of you who are listening, this program here is all about CDC, and it's only take one person at a time. We cannot take more than one person. This is Facebook Live. It's not any particular program we are using. We are using Facebook Live. But right now, Facebook Live only take one person at a time, so we cannot invite more than one. And right now, my guest here is Randy Dapper, who lives in the Pennsylvania area. I want him to get into our politician here and give us some sense from there. What they mean, all of what the games are going on, about the players and the Liberian people. So go ahead. Sorry about stopping you.
Yeah, sure. So again, CDC, under the leadership of Ambassador, we have become consistent with our plight, the plight of our people. He remained in the struggle. He listened to them. Can you imagine people were on the CDC compound when soldiers went there and killed them? It reminds me of what happened on the university campus when I was little. West Samuel those sent people to go and kill people at the University of Liberia. The CDC went through that on November the 7th. Ambassador Weir did not pack it low and say, you know what, I'm done. The politicians don't want to see no peace in this country. Some of us have done it. We packed our load, we left. But he continued to stay with the people. So he remained consistent. So the people feel that the future is in Ambassador Weir. Even Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has seen it. Robert Sirleaf has seen it. All the popularity and good things that Mr. Sirleaf did. When he went in the contest with Ambassador Weir, he lost. So the people are giving their trust to Ambassador Weir. Is he going to be 100% perfect? I would say no. Does he need our support? Yes. Every Liberian, let us put Ambassador Weir there and test him. If you got an issue, you go to Ambassador Weir, present your issue. Let's see how he's going to handle it. These politicians have failed us. Ambassador Weir continue to be the torchbearer of the Zogos in our country. Why will you call somebody Zogo when they were not Zogo to begin with? Even the same very man, Mr. Bronsky, have been here talking about Zogos.
There is a brother here whose name is Musa Jate.
Okay.
Musa Jate. He's coming here. He says you are tired pushing hour in America, so you are looking for job. My brother, we know you guys.
Look. I'm not here to brag. Today, that's why I say, other people have their comment, all right? You see the way I dress like this? I just came from work, all right? I just came from work. I work in Princeton. I don't know where you know Princeton, but if you do your research on Princeton, I work with one of the top medical device company. If your grandfather's heart is broken and he's about to die, we make the device as an engineer. We make those devices. It's just a generator. When the electric go off in Liberia, the generator kick in. We make those device called pacemaker. We sell them $500 per piece. Liberia cannot afford to buy that. We make those things $500 per piece. And we sell that all the whole world.
But before you explain yourself,
All
my
right?
guests
So
that
I
I
don't
bring,
want
my guests that I bring on my show here, they are well-educated people, well-known people. They know how to get into the mind. They got degrees that some of us don't even have. So let us respect them. They are Liberian.
no,
If you want to say,
Tunis,
yeah, let me.
don't give credence to the people. Let them have their say. This is
No, no,
what
no.
democracy is all about.
I told them that you can make any derogatory remark you want to. This is what the show is all about. But we just want you to understand that these people that we bring on the show here, they are not people to play with. They are people who are well knowledgeable
Let
of
me
whatever they say.
let me tell them this story. Anybody that listens to me, go to the Liberian EPA tomorrow and ask for Randy. Your EPA director comes to me every time for advice. They even gave me a job. They offered me a job. I turned it down. I bought my Camara when he was at the bank, central bank. I have those information. They gave me the job. When I told them how much I'm making here, Ellen O. Pratt from the labor ministry, she said, "You're making too much money. We can't pay you that money." And I said, "Okay, if you're paying the people from NOCA $30,000, why you can't pay me how much I'm making?" She said, "Oh, we don't have that money for you." But you know what? I wasn't ready to work for them. But I'm ready to support Ambassador Weah, which is why I'm not looking for a job in Liberia. Because number one, my company will not let me go. My wife will not let me go. I can only become a consultant. Right now, Tunis, I'm working with a company in Germany right now. Let me finish this point. I'm working with a company in Germany that when Ambassador Weah become president, I'm going to bring that company to purify every drinking water in every community. Because you know what? The typhoid fever. You know where the typhoid fever starts from? It starts from the very dump pile you dump your dirt. The rat, the roaches, crawl on all those things, come to your house, which is why typhoid fever is so high in the country. So when Ambassador Weah gets there, my role will be to train people, train health workers, train young adults in school, in colleges, how to become a better Liberian to protect the country. So when it comes to talking about looking for pushing cartoon, trust me, I go to work at 9 a.m. I have a staff meeting every morning. I sit down in my office until I get tired. So just forget about that, my brother. I don't want to brag about that, but since Tune brought it up, I want to say that because you know what? There are many Liberians who don't want to hear what I'm saying. It's very, very bad. I don't believe in that. But it just came up because Tune said that. But when it comes to degree, trust me. Right now, I'm doing my second master now in the pharmaceutical industry. When you live in America, the pharmaceutical industry make money. Right? Money, money, money.
There's another lady here, Ellen Paul. She
Okay.
said, we, wait a minute, let me see it. Oh man, where's the Ellen woman, man? Okay, right here. She said, you're bringing educated people to your show when CDC don't believe in education. Can you elaborate on that?
No, 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 no. That's the mindset. That is the mindset of our people. It's just like in America, they say all the black people are all criminal. So why are you bringing more criminal? No. It is the politician. It is the boycott. It is the URI. It is the ANC. They all are calling the people Zogos. If I come to Liberia, I'm not going to hang out with the folks. I'm going to West Point. Right now, I'm in contact with many communities that are in deplorable condition. My goal is to make sure that I help. And I can guarantee you, when I come to Liberia, I'm going to go into these communities and I'm going to help people. Because if we as Liberians try to denigrate our own people, then what you expect the Osa man, what you expect the Lebanese man, what you expect the Indian man to say to your people? It could have been me to say, oh, you're not educated. So let us not create that divide between ourselves because only the enemy will win. If you see your brother down, give him helping hand. If you see your sister down, give them helping hand. which is why I pray every day that I must do something to help everyone. If it will come through Ambassador Weir, which I believe it will be, is to come to Liberia, provide services at the University of Liberia, provide community leadership. Take, for example, Tunis, we have billions in our country. What if all the natural disasters happening in the world happen in our country? How many kids in the school know how to escape fire when the school is on fire? How many market women in the market know that when the building is on fire, when we have an earthquake, when the Ministry of Finance is shaking, how do people get out to be safe? How do they know all these things? It's through education. The reason we're not educated because there were some who decided to bring war to our country, who never talk about the future, that this life we live in is a handover and take over. When you serve your term, you give time to the other to serve. So I don't believe in people not educated. If people are not educated, I will ask myself, but what have the system done that make our people not to be educated? In America here, it's a mandatory requirement that everyone graduate from high school. Why don't we have that in Liberia? Why don't we encourage that in Liberia? But we have some ministers who sit in a car and invite young girls and exploit them. We have lawmakers who exploit young girls. But nobody's saying anything about that because they want to use the slavery or economic wealth to keep our people down. I lived in the swamp. I lived in Capitol Shop when I was in Liberia because my parents could not afford it, which is why when I came here, the opportunity was given to me, I learned to the best of my ability. And I want to make sure that those that don't have that opportunity to come here, they should be given the first preference in Liberia to get that opportunity, which is why I will always challenge Ambassador Weir that those who are behind him today, if he become president, give them scholarship, send it abroad, let them learn, and be able to come back and use their brain and their hands to build our country of Tunis. So let the people have their say. Let them have their say.
There's another person there, Buster T. Heenan Jr. With all the million we had, what structure can the Liberian be proud of to show the world? And let me see. He moved on to say, has we invested in Liberia? People keep writing too. Let me just
focus on one question and give it to me.
That's what I'm saying. Has we invested in Liberia like his fellow football players in their country?
Let me ask you one question. Eddie is an economist, right? Dr. Toba Nantibo is a PhD. Amos is a PhD. How many of them have built PhD university in Liberia? Someone want to question people's background. All the bookish people who have in Liberia, why is the University of Liberia like that? I mean, you should be thinking that Liberia should be offering PhD in every area now. Okay, the Bronsky man who is a top lawyer. How many top lawyers do we have? What is the best law school in Liberia? Look, we need to start joking about individualizing things to move our country forward. Ambassador Weir is here with vision. If you see Didier Drogba, you see Matomo, you see Samuel Eto'o, go and do a due diligence or studies as to what their government did to offer them the opportunity to build things. Secondly, look at the time Ambassador Weir was at the plight of making money. What did he do? He was in different refugee camps, helping people. His time of making money at that time is not compared to what Didier Drogba and Samuel Eto'o are making today. Ambassador Weir took most of his wealth to support our people that were in displaced camp. But today, he's back in the country trying to rebuild the country. Those that destroy the country, that said we should level Morovia, what have they done today to rebuild the country?
Okay,
I'll be back.
We have already spent our time. We were here for 45 minutes, but we have gone up to more than an hour, just a little bit over an hour. Please go to YouTube and check on his campaign rally. But so if you won't mind for us to close because we can't stay here.
I need to get a case to bear now, so yeah, we can wrap up now.
All right, let me hear your closing statement so that we can close. And before you give your closing statement, this is something that we do here twice a week, Monday and Thursday. We're always here to let you know about the things that CDC is about to do in Liberia and talk about politics in Liberia. This is Tunis Show, and my guest here tonight is Randy Dapo. Okay, and tomorrow, if any of you want to join my show, my name is, if you have to be a sedition though.
Let them come with open mind. Let them come with open mind. Let them come with open
Exactly.
mind.
So you can join us. My number is 917. If you want to take the number down, 917-709-2944. You can get in touch with me and I can schedule you so that I can feature you on my show. So let me give my brother a chance to give his departing statement. Please take your time. Anytime
Look,
you take.
guy, yeah, first of all, I want to apologize. My kids in the background here. I'm a family man. I take care of my kids. That's one of my priority here. And so please forgive me for the background noise. Number two, what I would like to say here, Tunis, is, guys, can you guys give me just 2 minutes? Let me wrap up. What I would like to say here is I encourage everyone to come on the platform to express their view, express their frustration. And I'm not refusing you to say if you support URE, ANC, you shouldn't come here and have your say. It's free to me. You can have your say. You can say anything you want to say. But what matters here is I want to make sure that you as a Liberian, no matter who, sit down, please. Sorry, Tunis. No matter who you are, I want to make sure that the opportunity that every Liberian in this country, America, and other parts of the world, the opportunity they're giving to their children, you should also be able to give that opportunity to your children in Liberia. You should be able to take your children to the ice cream shop. You should be able to take your children to the better school. You should be able to take your mom, your aunt to JFK without paying any money before they get treated. This administration is the first time in my life that I have seen people die at the footstep of the hospital and they're not getting treated. Wherein when their people get sick, they come to America and get the first class treatment. My goal is to make sure that Ambassador, we have provide the necessary accessibility for those handicapped people that Mr. Walker had denied. My goal is to make sure that the soccer academy that the government did not provide enough resources for people who want to pursue other careers. I want to make sure that when you're a football player, you should be respected in our country. When you're a basketball player, you should be respected in our country. There's no reason why when you're a basketball player, you cannot diversify your skills. I was a computer scientist. Why do I become an engineer? Why do I become a pharmacist now? Because the opportunity is given to us in America to diversify our skills, to move forward. Liberia is our country. We must argue every day, but at the end of the day, we must look for the best leader. And I think Ambassador Weah have been consistent with our people. He has been moderate. We saw that in 2011 where he said, let peace go ahead. Let Eddie Johnson set it rule. But here is Mr. Bronsky, who has denied the fact that he doesn't want for the peace to go on. He has decided to become intransigent to the peace. He is wasting people's time. There are people who want to go to school and learn. There are people who want to improve the health sector, the environment, the working condition. He's completely against all those things by remaining intransigent and saying that if this don't happen, we cannot move forward. So CDC is the way forward because Ambassador Weah have become the symbol of peace. He's the man who I believe in. With all the struggle that I went through, with all the education that I have in America, I have refused the opportunity from other government. But I believe my expertise can support Ambassador Weah to become the person that I think he can make that country. He's a winner, he's a fighter, and he's going to make sure that he sees the thing through. My final advice to the sedition is we remain resolute. Keep your focus. All we do is we must wait because that's the right thing to do. Because it's the right thing, because the right thing comes through miracle. And through miracle, we will win this election and we'll prove to our adversary that Ambassador Weah is the best leader that we ever have in our lifetime, in our history. He has made the world record and he's going to make that record in Liberia, and therefore we should support him. Tunis, I'd like to thank you, and I'd like to thank everyone who came on today. Look, keep bringing us here. Let us discuss. You know, those critics, as long as they continue to listen to us and post their question, in the time to come, we'll re-engineer their mind to align with Ambassador Weah and our philosophy to move the country forward.
Now, what do you say? Sao Muya,
Yeah, so
Muya,
Muya
Muya.
Sao. Muya Sao. That is our motto. That is the motivation. When you feel that energy, then you will be prepared to go and vote. So don't mind Mr. Bronsky. Let him do all his dancing. He will get tired. He will get beat up. All we must do is to wait until the day the election is ready. We go out there and get Ambassador Weah that victory. We will come in there and show our support.
I appreciate you here, and I'll look forward to see you on Thursday.
Thank you, sir. No.
Thank you.
Thursday, hold on. Thursday, I won't be here. I got a minor surgery to go through. I'm going through a minor surgery.
We will come there to you.
I'll be in my hospital. I'll be on the hospital bed. So my wife want me to take it. Muya,
Okay.
CDC, Muya.
Munya. All right, my
Yeah,
brother. Thank you
yeah,
so much.
yeah. But
Go take care of the kids.
I hope my matter can take my place on Thursday or any CDC. Like you said, this is our CDC show. We have all the expertise. Right now, before I leave, we got Gus, my fellow engineer from Illinois. He had 23 people in the country that are providing medical help to our people in Liberia. Every citizen will be tasked to carry a project to Liberia. I am looking forward after the election to do my part. So those that are on the other side will see what I'm made of. And they will say, you know what, Randy, we sorry for prejudging you. But we didn't know the kind of suffer. Tony, you know the kind of person I am. You
Oh, I
know.
know, man. I have no doubt. Thank you so much. Let me try to see. Let me try to see if I can bring Mama to.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Mama, how you doing? Okay, let me try to see if I can bring you in for just a minute because the program is officially over. I'm just trying to bring another sedition for like 5 minutes. Want to be on your show? Let me see. Okay, one of you guys. I'm sending you invitation, Mamata. If you can respond to it, I'll really be happy because I know you are one of the strong seditions in this country. I see that Mamata is not coming. Let me see the other guy, Van Dacho. I don't know what name is that. Okay, man, I send you an invitation. Let me see if he can come up. Who first come? If I can't get any of you in 2 minutes, then I have to close the show. But thank you guys for hanging out with us here tonight. This is all about CDC, trying to promote CDC one way or the other. We know that George Weah he's the only one can change Liberia the way it is right now because 12 years up to now, the currency is every day going up. Now I think it's about $130 to $1 US. And the gas price just went up today. You know, I mean, can you believe it? Liberian people buying gas for $5 to $6 a gallon. Can you believe that? And you want to bring back the same people to power? Wow. I don't know. I don't know how you guys think. Look, what you do to get my invitation, you have to turn your phone horizontally and you will see the invite on your bottom right hand corner. But your phone have to lay the widescreen way, horizontal. Just do it that way and you will see. You will get me. Okay, let me see if I can bring this. I try to bring everybody, but Alfonso Daka, let me see if I can bring you in. Alfonso, now I send you the invite. The invite is coming. You have to lay your phone, the widescreen, like you're watching Joshua Howard. Let me see if I can bring you. Joshua, I bring in almost everybody, but they're leaving. Joshua, I just send you an invite. Joshua, lay your phone like you're watching a movie or watching a game, not the regular way. Straight. Okay, Joshua, what's up, bro? You Joshua, right? How you doing?
Alfonso.
Huh?
Alfonso Declan.
Alfonso, how are you? I can take 5 minutes with you because the show is already over.
I'm all right.
Okay, what you
Yeah,
about?
I'm all right.
What you about? Are you a sedition?
I'm a, I'm in support of the CDC. When I was in Liberia, I used to be with the Liberty Party camp, but I have totally separated myself from the Liberty Party, and now I have given my support to the CDC.
What are some of the reasons why
Recent thing,
you separated yourself from Liberty Party?
yeah, one of the reasons is this. You see, Councillor Bronsky is someone who is not consistent. That's one. Councillor Bronsky, when he
One minute, hold on for a second. Please introduce yourself to at least to our listeners and tell us where you live in the diaspora. Please.
well, I'm Alfonso Declar. I live in New Jersey, Hamilton, to be
Hamilton, New
specific.
Jersey. All right,
Yeah.
that's enough. So let us know why you distance yourself from the Liberty Party.
The reason being for trying to take myself out from the Liberty Party until Councillor Bronsky can no longer serve as a candidate of that party, I can never give my support. Bronsky is someone who is inconsistent in a sense. When Bronsky had the 2005 election, he was muted after the election. That was fine. He didn't direct any party to vote for whosoever he wanted them to vote for. He said whoever that was moved and saw any of the character in any of the two candidates at the time could vote for any of the candidate, which was very good and unique. But during the 2011 election, after he lost the election, I thought he was still maintain that position, but yet he went and gave his support to Malaheli Johnson Sirleaf at the time, where they were the same people who are trying to unseat the kind of government. You can't be fighting someone, and at the same time, because you lost election to that person, and then you try to give support to that person. I don't know, it was on what basis. That was one. And two, Councillor Bronsky made a lot of religious people to put their trust in him. And so many people put their trust on the line. They saw their integrity. When Councillor Bronsky lost that election, he didn't go back to the Christian community. In fact, he came out and said that the people fooled him. So this man is the kind of person that if he can't get what he wants from you, the next thing he go against you. He's not a leadership material.
So
And I think
you really you have more than 15, 20 party in Liberia beside Liberty Party. What really encouraged you to join on board with CDC?
yeah, the reason why I gave my support to CDC is one. You see, we should be very much thankful for Ambassador Weah. If Ambassador Weah was a power greed, if Ambassador Weah was not a peace-loving or partisan, but now Liberia would have been in a disarray, and we have had a lot of issues like people in confusion, demonstration going on. But sometimes when I sit and monitor most of these shows, I ask myself, is George Weah actually in Liberia? Does he actually talk? Because here is the thing that actually going on, and he has every right to direct a partisan, to direct his supporter into any trouble, into any demonstration. But the man is so kind, he's so humble and so loving, and have the country at heart to the extent that he doesn't want for anyone to get involved into any violence. Such a person who does not want his people to be into trouble, he's a leader to follow. A leader should be someone who should be humble. A leader should be someone who should be loving. A leader should not be someone who will bring division to say, burn down the mansion. Should not be a leader who will say, we will search from door to door. But the young man is always preaching the message of peace. So Georgia is just a godsend. So I think with that kind of spirit, he can make a very better leadership in Liberia.
What will you give? What will you want for him in the first 100 days for him to first tackle in Liberia? Because we are here now, we may not be too much into Liberia, but the people in Liberia, as we see, the currency rate is high now. It's about 125 to 130 for a dollar. Gas prices going up. Even down to the water they used to buy for 5 cents is going up. So things are not really easy. In the first 100 days of his presidency, what really you want him to tackle first in Liberia?
In the first 100 days of Weah presidency, one thing he should have, and I know that he will do that because He's someone who I think he's willing to work with whosoever that willing and have Liberia first as their concern is to bring everyone together, be it from different political parties, be it from whether you believe in him that he is capable or not. It should have an inclusive government where he will bring every Liberian on board. And with that strong team, after he has brought in an inclusive government, then they can have a table drum, because I believe that there are a lot of division, there are a lot of hatred, there are a lot of divisive that going on personally in Liberia. So if these guys can come together and hold, and not putting their interest first, but putting Liberia first and holding on together, they can make a better team. That is the first thing that George will need to do. You should have a government of inclusion. Then, and within the same vein, it should also be able to move into this rural area. Government inclusion should not be just only Morovia, but it should also create that kind of system of government that will have the chief,
Yeah,
that will have
your
the
hands in
elders.
front of the camera. You got
Oh,
it?
okay.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
That okay. Sorry for that.
All right.
So once he had the kind of system established, like government of inclusion, bringing everyone on board, which I know he would do. Now people are saying that, oh, why should Georgia accept heading? Why he should accept this? Now, with all the wickedness that we do, God will never refuse us, no matter how terrible we will be. That what made God to be God. And so such a man with this kind of spirit, I guess if he actually live within that vein after he is elected as president, if he still continue with the kind of spirit, the kind of humble spirit, bringing Liberians together and uniting the nation, will have a very strong leadership from Ambassador Weah.
You've been listening to Alfonso Dakla. That's the name, right? Dakla?
Yeah.
Alfonso Dakla, he's here. He's just a guest for 5 minutes because the show is already over, but he tried to come in and express some kind words about the CDC party. So we would like for you to please give your closing remark and say good night to our listeners. Please take a minute.
Yeah, I just want to demolish all the sedition. I'm not a CD. I'm not from the CDC camp, but with the following of the electoral process, I have given my support to the CDC, and I want to encourage all the citizens that all those negative things that are said about CDC, I strongly believe that within the CDC camp they have evil people and they have good people. Within the other party, they got evil people, they got good people. Even the devil said came from heaven. That showed that there was a wicked person in heaven. But I want to admonish the good people who have the vision within the CDC camp, the leaders that people are looking up to. Let them preach the message of peace. Let them keep encouraging all the citizens. Let them not give up. They should not be troubled by what is happening, because there will be testing time before you get any good thing. You have to go through some testing time. I want to encourage all those veterans, all those strong participants of the CDC party, to encourage all our boys, the young boys, the one in the street, the one on the roadside. They are all citizens. They are good people. And we encourage them, whether they smoke, whether they drink, they are all Liberians. Let's keep encouraging them so that we can hold on to our peace and wait for the runoff so that we can go and elect ourselves by the ballot box. And not any other means, but let the people go willingly and vote and elect whosoever they want.
So Munya, CDC Munya.
Munya.
Okay, my man. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, you are welcome, my brother.
All right. Guys, this is it. Mama, Thursday coming, you are my guest, so make sure you take my invite. I'm trying to see if I can bring in another invite. Let me see if I can bring in you, my brother. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Hey guys, it's all about, God, thank God. Joshua Howard, how are you?
Well, I'm doing good, and you?
Oh, thank God. Are you a sedition or what?
100% sedition.
Oh man, 900 plus.
100
All right,
plus sedition.
I can host you for 5 minutes because the show is already over. I'm about to go to bed after work tomorrow, but I can host you for 5 minutes. Let me just hear what you got to say about CDC. Well, can you please introduce yourself to our listeners out there, please, and tell us where
Anyways,
you live in America? You don't have to go
okay,
too much. Just give us your name and where you live.
speaking, I'm Joshua Howard, a born partisan of CDC and a strong supporter of Georgia. Again, I live in North Dakota, Fargo, USA.
Okay, my brother,
Okay,
welcome to the show. And as time goes on, I can host you for at least entire show so that we can hear from you. But what brought you to CDC? What on CDC that you like? You have multiple parties in Liberia, but you just chose to be a sedition. Why?
number one is that people always, classify us to be like people who don't know book.
Zogu.
People Yeah, Zogo, people classify all to be one who don't have brain. And even when I was back in 2005, my voting card was seized by my parent to not vote for CDC. But I told them that I'm a citizen and I was able to get my card and I voted George Weah my choice. But again, I believe strongly that with George Weah, our country can go forward. Because reconciliation should be the first goal for our country. And the youth is the first priority in every country. If you can bring closer the youth, trust me, you always succeed in everything you do. Even the great America we're in today, the people always found
Go ahead. Go ahead.
always found children to learn, go to school, technical colleges and other things. But our people are there using the money to come abroad to send their children to good hospital here, good school, and then still calling people down the line who they influence by getting a gun to kill each other, calling a Zogo, and not bringing them together. And when Joria got in the race, he was one of the person that admitted the fact, well, I'm a high school graduate, because of this, because of that, I struggle with this, and he had a mind concept that he struggled and he can be able to carry the country forward. People that lived that left long time ago and have a lot of mind concept to destroy our country, and they did, and they came today to be leader for 12 years and doing nothing for the people, just to make people suffer, and now they come back to us to tell us that we should give them another more year. I look at it to be real, like when you are looking at yourself and kidding yourself. You have the means to survive, but you still going to where to say, yeah, I'll go the old direction. We
That's
sedition, we had.
There's a guy here called James Kone. I have been following this George Weah man from my small boy time. He has a very unique and humble character. What do you say about that?
What he's saying is true. Like I was much smaller during the time George Weah then came out. So for he's saying, I think at the time, but I really got to know the George Weah man from 2003. The time I got open and started to know him good. And Joia from the day, even where I live, where they had the old time of fee, when Joia entered that community, you see the youth around him. They may have the spirit of humor, they may have the spirit of humanitarian. So let we all join with him. We saw the late Samake do. We can make an example of Samake do. He came in power. Of course, later he hired on default, and later something go on different, and he went the other way. But Samake do was not educated. And he was fast in picking up, according to history or whatsoever. And at the time, some of the kids don't go in power out of nowhere. But what we heard and what we see and what people show us, and the stadium and thing we enjoying, the ministry and thing he was building, and where our current president came and renovated, These are examples and things that we see that men who are not educated, men who not went fine education, he was able to do. And the people who have the master degree, who came in politics and then start to preach on educated and educated people, these are people who really trust to say we give our country to again. You come into power and you know you're educated.
Like for instance, you just come in, I mean, I don't know when you came, you said 2005 you came in this country, right?
Yeah, no, 2000, I came to the country 2014.
2014. So you're almost like you just came. But let me ask you, if George Weah happened to become the leader of Liberia, our country, our beloved country, what would you want him to tackle first that really in the interest of the people?
Like, we'll be talking about reconciliation, and which of course he already started. He has to bring the people together. Whether you educated, you're not educated, whether you are man or you are gay, you are crown. And I enjoy George Weah, the educated people being in power, Johnson Sadiki in power, should lack of all of these things they may are targeting in campaign. For George Weah to, when it came to, I really respect George Weah for, and up to now, I will tell anybody, for George Weah to look at Joel Howard Taylor and bring her closer and make her to be VP. And it was a great step he took. It was a great step of reconciliation. One. Taylor once upon a time said that George Weah want to become president of Liberia. Everybody, oh, Taylor won't kill George Weah, Taylor won't kill George Weah. But there's some things that they both need to argue on, and George Weah needs to tell he Taylor. But sometimes you people, when you're around, you will not know. But people who been around, they know what George Weah and Taylor to pass through. George Weah look at George Taylor, send her to the late Samuel K. Do West, Nessie Do. Say, take these things, go there to her, tell her that we need her on board for our campaigning. We need her on board for advices. We need her on board. Men who don't know book, men who way down where people classify to be nothing, can take that kind of stamp. It's a great stamp. That alone shows that when he get into power tomorrow and whosoever that is coming around, he help to prop him up. There will be a great impact. There will be a great progress. There will be a great result we're going to get from him. Because okay. Since she lose her husband somebody during the war, there have been no leader to come and do such a thing. But if you can look at Charles Taylor West, say go to the woman, let recognize her, let identify with her, let make sure we look at her to be somebody who was a former leader or wealth within the country. That was a great step he took.
Judge Weah says he's going to bring free education and he will pay YFE. How do you think he's going to go about this?
It's just a common sense. Like meaning, I would like for him to prioritize mostly on the government school, because private school you can do sometimes get some policy that they bring down school fees, make everything go run the right way. But meaning, when it comes to government school, he will be able to work on to build more government schools, renovate more government schools, and then make sure step on them that, oh yeah, this is what we want to be done here, and make sure that the government school be enough before they can do such. Because if there is no government school, the private school, more than the government schools. So if you don't have a lot of government school, I don't think you'll be able to carry on such a tax. Because individual build his schools, spend a lot of money, you can just go that way and win.
All right, at least you've been here 5 minutes. What would be your last statement to your Liberian brothers and sisters who are in Liberia, who are watching us here? What some of the good words will you encourage them to be a sedition or to vote for CDC?
One of the things I want to say to every one of us, we just have to keep our country in prayer. We have to stand alone, be united. United we stand, divided we fall. Liberia is the only thing we have. Liberia is the only country that we can run. Anytime there is any trouble, they will know how to handle out there than other country. So we should focus to carry our country forward. We should be focused to pray that electoral process go good and everything should be on the right path. Vote at your choice and vote the right leaders that will be able to carry your country forward as a sedition. I tell all my sedition brothers that they should stand strong. They should keep pushing. Whether in the village, whether in the town, whether in the hole, we are waiting. When I over the river, we carry kingdom. When I on the sea, we carry speedboat, we carry ship to campaign. When in the air, we already got our chopper, we land in the air. Anywhere, we're going to go there and campaign strongly and make sure when you're electing, like you'll be elected, not selection. Like everything will go on smoothly, that we'll be able to perform our tasks and go correctly. And we pray for him that God give him wisdom, give him long life, that he will succeed in everything he do. Let God bless him in endeavor. And God bless our country, Liberia.
So what is the motto? Say it before you leave. Munya sao.
So, munya, CDC munya, jacha, man, jacha, brother, man, brother. Oh, hey.
Yeah. All right, my brother. Thank you so much. Thank you for stopping by.
Okay.
Okay, guys, it's all about CDC. This is part of CDC campaign in the diaspora. We're about to leave. Let me see who is here to invite. Patrick here. Let me see if I can bring Patrick here. Patrick, there's an invite coming for you. Let me see if you can come in. Then I can give you 5 minutes before leaving. Patrick, you the only one now. You will be the last. But an entire generation is lost, including him. What do we need to advise? Okay, Patrick, I hear what you're saying. CDC, oh yeah, Fatmata Sumuwat. Wow, that's a strong last name. Sumuwat. Fatmata Sumuwat is watching. CDC, oh yeah. Come on, Fred. My man, let me see. Patrick, all you got to do, Patrick, put your phone on um, the screen, put a screen like you're watching the movie, and you will see the invite in the bottom right hand corner. George Weah is going to be leader that will be accessible. Yes. Thank you, Valenin. Damn, what is that? Good job. All right, thank you. Thank you guys for hanging around. We're about to close this. I just want to bring in Patrick Chia, Mr. Chia. Let's see what he got to say for 5 minutes. Put your phone horizontally and then, or like the way you watch a movie. And then you will see the invite on the right hand corner. I don't know if you have one of the latest phone or one of the up. Oh man, Patrick is here. Well, hey, I hope you have. Are you in Liberia, Patrick?
I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm here, sir.
You are in Liberia?
No, I'm in Massachusetts.
Damn, but why the place so dark like in Liberia?
I'm in Massachusetts trying to hide myself from those guys praising CDC, but they're not answering question that actually that Liberia need today.
Are you a
I
citizen?
I I I have not formally joined CDC because I've been here for long, but I have followed George Weah all my life. I'm 47 years old, and I started following George Weah saying he was playing soccer, saying he left, went to Cameroon, from Cameroon went to France, and then to Italy, and then he started playing for all the Monaco and stuff. That's when I started following him.
Okay,
I
I can host you for 5 minutes, but I just want you to introduce yourself. I know your name is Patrick Chia, but you calling from Massachusetts, where Boston, Massachusetts, or where Massachusetts?
Yeah, Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston,
Um,
Massachusetts.
yes, I've been in Massachusetts for the past 20 years.
Oh man, you just like me. I've been in New York for the past 30 years.
Yeah, so and I
But
live my
I don't
life.
know. I had my caller, my people who watching, they can see your face, and I don't know. You driving? You coming from work?
Yes, coming from where on my way home. I'm almost home though, but I just want to express my feeling a little bit and
Go
try
ahead.
to.
I give you some time. Go ahead. Say any good thing you want to say about CDC. You say something bad, I'm going to drop you off.
Uh, no. I like Josh Weah. Josh Weah is my man. You know, when I was little, Helen Salif wanted to be president. All my life, Action Party wanted to be president. She came there. She disappointed us. Actually, we nominated her here from Boston. She came to
Mm.
Boston, and that's where she started the whole thing. And I told the
Why don't
people,
you put a light on in the car so we can see your face?
the guys still want to see my face.
No, but we
Uh,
need to see your face. You are a handsome young man, and hey, now we can see your face. Thank you so
yeah.
much. Go ahead.
So we got problem. Liberia, we got big problem in Liberia than George Weah. George Weah, all George Weah life, that boy loved Liberia. That's one thing I know. I saw
every gold, whatsoever gold that he won abroad, George Weah wanted to bring it to Liberia. He told the white guy, he said, look, I want you guys to give it to me in Liberia. Everything they wanted to give it, they wanted to give him in the white people country. He said, no, I don't care how Monrovia was dirty. I was there at the time. I don't care how bad. You walk in the street of Monrovia, the rain and the mud. George Weah he kept telling the white people, say, I want you guys give me my trophy in my home country, Monrovia. And he would bring the white people, the journalists, he would bring them there. We were chasing down the street, George Weah, George Weah. But that's not the problem. The problem here is corruption is our #1 problem. Liberia got money. If you look at the government today, they're all making all the big money. But yet and still, there are no streets. There are no, electricity. The children, this entire generation, what I said that this entire generation is a lost generation. Who's going to bring them up? Suppose George Weah and all the other little people leave. Who's going to be president tomorrow after these people? We need our eyes need to open. We need roads. The corruption so bad that everybody trying to eat. I hope George Weah will listen to some of these things and don't bring some of these people who all about their pocket. Put the country first. He put the country first and let everybody else put the country first. Clean house. Clean house. Instead of minister making $50,000, he got driver. In this country, you've been here 30 years. Have you seen a senator here, the U.S. government buying senator a car? Have you seen a government official here buying government? They all buy their own car. They all hire their own driver. They all rent.
You're so right about that. I think Liberian Congress, or how you call them, House of Representatives, make more money than the Congress here.
Yes, and still they got house, but they got people to wash their clothes. Those things have to stop. We have to. George will love that country, but that's the only difficulty I think he's gonna have to deal with the people, because in order to clean house, he have to say no. Gentlemen, he had to set an example.
The Tanzania president did that, though.
Yes, but he did that because that's what I'm saying. George can do it, but he has to be strong.
Very strong. Very strong.
My entire life, I'm 47. My father died at age 52. I'm Grable. I'm from Grand Cru. My father entire life, there no fitting road from over the Grand Cru. Then my entire life, my 47 years of life, no fitting road, the same road from Moreover to Grand Cru still. Who's gonna do that? The money is there, but everybody just focus on a little, their pocket, building big houses. Look at how can you build a decent house and there's no even zoning behind, right in front of your house. The man go and build, a zinc round. You eating, hey man, it's so pathetic, man. I hope George will succeed, but I hope some of these things will be his first priority. Unification, he's already working on it, but cleaning house is the major thing. To get our money to be focused, to put our money to better use. Schools, hospitals, we need schools, we need hospitals, there are 3 major things. The only way Liberia will improve, if your mother, I don't know whether your mother's still living, if your mother can come from a village, they are fools. Our parents are picking bitter ball pepper on the farm, and they sit on the car road waiting for cars to take that pepper to the market and buy salt, buy a bag of salt and bring it home to their children. And they cannot get car. All day that pepper sit down in the farm and get rotten because no road, because no car. And she cannot get out pepper to the market, buy salt for her son or buy color for her son to bring it for her son. There will be nothing improving in Liberia. That's the only way, my brother. That's the only way. And it's so bad. George Weah he coming to an issue. He coming to a bigger elephant than he thinks.
I know.
It's so big. Yeah.
So what do you really want him to tackle first in his first 100 days?
Well, the thing I want to tackle first is like I just said, all those guys are making, buying cars and making all the big money. money control first. Money control first. Liberia got money. Let control the salary. Let's do everything according to the way we see it. We all come here, learn, and we go back home, and then we turn around. It shouldn't be like that. Look, this generation needs school, education. Education roles and controlling the entire infrastructure. I mean, entire monetary, thing in Liberia. Like we got, oh man, look, it's a long list, but the one he can do first. And he should not listen to, let him carry his head. He should not listen to this other person coming, minister this, minister. No. Let him set his agenda straight. Don't listen to nobody. Clean house and put our money into real rural development. We need real development in Liberia so that people can move freely. Once people start moving freely, government corrupt. We ain't got time for that. Once that old lady can bring her pepper from the farm to the market, buy soil and go back home, she will not have time for that government. Once her son going to school, she will not have time for that government. And those are kind of things we need to tackle.
Okay, thank you so much. I wish you to be careful driving because you pay more attention on the camera, and I pray God for you at least,
No,
So
I pull over.
all right. Let me just let you say your final word for the brothers of Liberia. The people of Liberia. For us, what kind word you can say for us to encourage us to go through this process until we get the right person elected?
Well, I pray for my brother. I pray for George Weah. I live his life. I love Weah. This boy, beside playing soccer, he just got a heart. He got a heart for Liberia. First of all, he got a heart for Liberia. And then he got a heart for human being. I just hope that he succeed to be president. And let's see, let we all look at him and see what he can do. And let God give him the best people, surround him with the best people, so that the development he want to bring in Liberia. No president had brought any development in Liberia. The only president that wanted to do it was Doe. That in our lifetime, Doe was the only guy that was coming trying to build road. Look at that time River. Look at that time River. Where everybody going? Everybody hang up Broad Street. Everybody, the way traffic is so bad because everybody heading toward Broad Street. There's no other road leading from Broad Street that would distribute traffic. All the old cars were taken from Okenem, Liberia. Everybody Broad Street. Everybody Broad Street. Everybody Broad Street. Now, but some
Broad Street is our Broadway now. What do you think?
I know some of us want to take our friends from here. Say, look, somebody work out. Let's go home, man. Let's go eat some good food. Let's go see some, let's go have some free life. But you take them there, then right on Broad Street, you got, when last our sewer have been clean? I'm 47 years old. I live on Broad Street. Broad Street had never been paved one day. Our sewer system, I've never been beside the Chinese people coming out and putting Chinese stuff in place.
Okay, my brother. At least you are a true sedition. At least you saw a sedition show and you make sure you got in and at least have your say. So we appreciate you being here with us tonight. And this is a program that comes on twice a week. And if you want to join us, you will see us. You can follow us every time. We are always here until after the election. Thank you so much.
Okay, my brother. Thank you very much, too. And I hope CDC win. I wish CDC lock all the way, and I hope we all live to see George. Presidency, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. All right, let me get this caller here. This is Van DJ. When you get here, I'm sending you invite Van. All you have to do, lay your phone horizontally and then connecting. Van is connecting. Exactly what you got to do. Okay, take your finger off. What's up,
Hello, Van? Hello, brother.
Hi, Van. How you doing? Van, right?
Great. Yeah, DJ Van DJ.
DJ Van. Okay, yeah, bro. DJ, you're not mixing here now. I beg you. You're not mixing here. Are you a sedition? Are you a sedition or what?
I'm a born advocate of the CDC.
Okay, you are the right people. You are one of those that You are one of those. I'm going to hang out with you for at least 5 minutes
And
to have your
I
say.
wanna do those that gave the standard bearer a pair of football boots for him to play against Mete Barrow, for him to take away him to Cameroon.
Oh, that time you were playing for IE.
No, that time my uncle was having the store, the sporting store called the Afro Sport.
On Kerry Street?
My late uncle used to be Sam Brunette, Samuel A. Brunette.
The store was on Kerry Street, right?
Yeah, on Broad Street, Benson Street.
On Benson Street. Where are you calling us from?
Me, I'm calling you from China.
China? Where in China?
Beijing.
Beijing. Oh, over there now is what time is it over there? In the morning or in the afternoon?
Oh, it's going to 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. Okay, what you got to tell us, man? I know the process is going on. The ruling came out today, but your camera is not steady. I want to hang out with you for at least 5 minutes before I let you go.
Oh, yeah, sure. You're welcome, sir.
Why is Beijing anyway?
Oh, Beijing is so great now. The place is getting, we are in winter.
How is
we are in winter now.
How is the Liberian community?
Well, the Liberian community here is doing great. Everyone is trying to meet up with their own problem, but everybody is doing things. Everything is okay.
So what do you have to tell us about CDC party, man? The things going on, people say they are all street boys, they are grown-up boys, they are hoodlum, they are motorbike rider, they are not serious, they are just confusionists. What do you say about this?
Oh yes, what I have to say is that God only gives
we need to see your face. We need to see your face.
Oh, my face?
Yes, please. Thank you. I see all your DJ equipment.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm waiting for inauguration to go and play music for George Weah.
Oh, that's very good.
What happened?
Happy Tyler, how you doing? Go ahead.
Yeah, what happened here is, brother, we just need to stay focused and pray to God. And also, you guys that is in America, you need to do one thing for CDC to gain power and for Liberia to grow up. You guys need to go and take a peaceful march at the Republican headquarters because they are the one that own Liberia.
Which one is the Republican?
The Republican in America, there are two parties, Democrat and Republican.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Liberia. I got you.
Yeah,
go ahead. I got you.
If you follow your history well, they are the people that own Liberia. They are the people that demonstrate all those elections that is going on there. Those are the formats, those things are there that show for the people of Liberia to say, oh, they are going to vote. But they do their own selection. Who they want to be president is the person that will be president. They have denied this vice president. They don't need him because of Eddie Johnson's leave. You understand? You see, everybody's pointing behind CDC is because they know that George Weah have to be president. For me, I know, I have a dream. George Weah became president. But for you Liberians in America, you need to step up, and tell the American people that you people love your country. If our George Weah in my 100 years, in my 100 days of my presidency, I will appeal to the American government to send back people like you. All those professors, all those people with hard knowledge that is in America there. I will make sure the American government send them back to Liberia And I will build a complex for them, a home that they will come in that 2-3 bedroom apartment. I will give it to them for them to work for the country and pay back the money, just like mortgage. Government will build the complex in a 500 Jeddah Matadi estates, but it will be modified in a great design. You understand? Government will build those things. And people like you in America, all the folk, I know you are a very smart man, you are a genius. You gotta listen to your show, I listen to your output, I listen to the way you talk to people. People like you, government will pay you. If that's $3,000 a month, that is good money. You will come down and do something for your nation. And also, if that's $100 or $200, you are going to pay back to the bank every month till your house finish, and you can take the property. If you want to move away, if you want to sell the property to another people, you can. You go ahead because you have the document already that you bought the place. So that's why George, I'm praying to God for him to become president, for him to move on his plans, because I sat down with him in Ghana before. I know he has those kind of plans, building real estates, you know, investing in real estates for people to sleep, roads, hospital. That is me important things. Roads, hospital, and school. Because in a great country, you have to educate the people. Like some of us, we were just lucky in life, you know. Like me, I'm a very lucky guy in life. But when I see my own life and when I look at the life of George we came out the same way. But only thing he went different way. God make him to play professional football in the world. One of me, I came out struggle from country to country there. Today, I have almost 2 apartment buildings in China. I'm living here with my family, with my wife, my daughter, everybody, and I'm a professional video DJ. But because of Liberia don't help its people, that's why you see me, I only play in a nightclub. I see a lot of Liberian musicians in America there. They are making music, and they're not making music that people will spend money to buy. They wouldn't make music just to have drink and celebrate, enjoy themselves. But underneath CDC government, there will be reform of musicians. There will be great jobs for them, that they will be able to produce their music and sell the music. Because people like us will come back home with the little thing we learn in Ezra, will come back and show the people how to make instrumentals. When we're talking about instrumentals, I listen to Liberian hip-hop music. There is no rhythm in it to make you dance. Even if you play the hip-hop music in the various clubs in China, nobody will listen to it. I only play one of Liberian musicians that live in America that I know what the music, Liberian people mind your own business, one music, one new hip-hop music. I love that music, and I always play that music because the rhythm of the music, although the beat is just 83 BPM, it's 83 BPM, it's very slow, but real hip